I think the three things that HR directors and professionals could do to facilitate what could be a really amazing transition to unleashing capacity of workers everywhere is for them to be the vanguard, the stewards of protecting the human rights of all workers, to be unfettered, to be free of being surveilled in the workplace. And as HR professionals know, people do their best work when they're trusted. So that first order of business is they could be the ones who defend the right of workers to always control data about them and their exchanges in the workplace in all settings, whether it's for full-time employees or for contractors. The second thing that they could bring to the table is their awareness that we could certainly say it's millennials. I think it's much bigger than that. Their awareness that there are workers now coming into the workplace who are not interested in staying in the same workplace for the rest of their careers. They want to learn new things. They want to imagine that this isn't the first stop or the third stop, but rather a new place to learn. And so they could be a part of recognizing that the value is not in investing and possessing a single employee. Certainly you want to recruit for who you need, but genuinely to be much more interested in helping them go where they go, helping them grow and to figure out where they should go next. They could pave the way for seeing that as a benefit to both the workers and to their firms, not looking to cut the labor costs at their firm, but genuinely trying to enhance what kind of match is happening between the talent that might be needed in the moment and the capacity of people to be that talent for somebody else elsewhere. And then the third thing that I think HR professionals know already is that there are uneven playing fields here. And the role of HR in being able to say, we know that we see disparities in who is given an opportunity in this setting. What can they do to use this orientation to tasks and projects to say, I'm now licensed to go find diversity and inclusion. And not because it's a nice to have, it looks good for our firm, but because they know that that is precisely, that mix is what makes output really shine and exponentially amazing for firms. Like firms die when they do the same thing over and over again. The best way of buffering against that is get a diverse team, get an inclusive team. Again, not because it's a nice thing to do for the workers, it is, but because you get better outcomes. That means they have to facilitate folks who have never interacted with each other before. So realizing that this world of work is going to increase the amount of bumping into difference. And that means it could be their role not to report after the fact bad things that happen, but literally to be saying our job is to assume this is hard. There is nothing obvious about interacting and being able to have productive exchanges with people who are different from our own sense of identities where we come from. So their job is to recognize we need more of that. It's not even just we need it, it's happening, and it will continue to happen as we organize around projects and tasks. So they're going to play an incredibly important role in saying this has to be facilitated. This is not something that workers should just have to figure out for themselves, because in all cases, you know who carries that work? It's the person who is the most different. So their job is to make sure that everybody is aware that it is a collective effort, and really, the need for all of us to recognize how hard it is to see each other's value, and to not just be tolerant of each other's difference, but to see it as something that I'm going to gain from that exchange. But it should never be left to individuals to do on their own. And the whole point is, like, you've got to connect with people to be able to be productive in any social setting. And it's a privilege. It is a luxury, but it is a privilege to disconnect from people. And that should never be a place anybody feels comfortable occupying. They should recognize that, because that always comes at the cost of somebody else. Like, anytime you're disconnecting, you just pushed work onto someone else. So I think anybody who feel, I feel this when anybody tells me they don't listen, answer email, all I can think is, yes, you do. And it's usually by somebody who you feel obligated and feel is more powerful than you. So that's a side note, but it's like, those moments of, like, tolerance is, it feels like an expression of unchecked privilege.